Welcome to Motherhood After Trauma, where we stop pretending and heal out loud. I'm Emily Cleghorn, trauma survivor, cycle breaker, and mama rebuilding from the inside out. If you're ready to break cycles, trust yourself again, and rise without shame, you're in the right place. Let's go. Before we dive in, mama, if you're a mama healing from trauma and trying to parent differently, but you're not sure what support or next step is right for you, I totally understand. And that's why I've created something to help. Take my free Find Your Next Step to Calm and Healing quiz to discover where you are in your healing journey and what your next best step looks like. You'll find the link in the show notes below. Hey, mama. Welcome to this episode of the Motherhood After Trauma podcast. Today, before we dive into what we're talking about, I want to share something with you all that has been on my heart. And this is not really something that I've done a whole lot of on the podcast. I'm very much let's make a plan, let's stick to the plan. But today, if you could indulge me a little bit and hear me out, that would really be appreciated. So one of the themes that we talk a lot about here is the tendency for many of us to overfunction because that's the way that we have been conditioned. I know that's true for me. To be the person who gives and supports and shows up and pours into everyone else while expecting very little in return. And that's what I've been reflecting on in my own journey. For years, I've poured my heart into creating this podcast space and the community that surrounds it because I believe so deeply in making healing conversations accessible. But if I'm being really honest with you, which is something that I value immensely, is that I'm also learning that for me, accessibility in the past has meant give it away for free, endless giving without support. And while I want this space and the healing work that we do to be accessible, because I don't think healing should be a privilege. I've also come to understand that I can't do it by myself and I can't do it without support because sustainable healing requires sustainable support. And you guys do that through your listens and your subscribes and your shares and your reviews. And I am so thankful for that. However, if this podcast has supported you, if an episode has helped you feel seen or understood or less alone, and you'd like to help me keep this work going, I've created a way for you to do that through Buy Me a Coffee. There is absolutely no pressure. I completely understand that not everybody is in the position to do this. This podcast will continue because this mission matters to me. But for those who want to contribute and be part of keeping these conversations available, I am eternally grateful for your support. So, what I'm going to do moving forward is for those who become supporters, uh, I'm going to start giving listener shout outs on the podcast. Now, bear in mind that these episodes are recorded in advance, so it may take a while for your shout out to um, go live, but that's what I'm going to do because this mamahood after trauma space needs to be a place where it's give and take equally, equally. So, with that said, let's dive into our episode today. This month, we're talking about something that comes up often in trauma recovery, but doesn't get talked about enough: identity. Because healing isn't only about learning how to calm your nervous system, it isn't only about understanding your triggers. It isn't only about changing your reactions. Eventually, healing brings you face to face with a much bigger question: who am I now? And for many of us, that question feels terrifying because you've spent years surviving. Crisis can become familiar. I remember when I was, oh, probably a couple months into my healing journey, and it hit me because my trauma happened so early in my life, when before the age of 7 and around the age of 7, I didn't know an Emily myself without that massive amount of trauma. And so for me, it wasn't the who am I now? It was the who am I at all question. And to be completely blunt with you, that scared the ever-loving snot out of me because I didn't know who I was without these huge, heartbreaking, gut-wrenching things driving the bus. Maybe you became the person who handled everything, the one who kept the peace, the one who stayed strong, the one who could push through anything at all, the one who didn't need help, the one who's always had a plan because being unprepared never felt safe. And those survival skills probably helped you. I know they helped me. They got you here. But what happens when you're no longer in constant crisis? What happens when chaos starts to quiet? A lot of women expect healing to feel like freedom immediately. I kind of did, if I'm being honest. But sometimes healing feels confusing because you're no longer the person you had to become to survive. But you haven't fully met the person you're becoming yet. And the middle space can feel uncomfortable. You might find yourself thinking, why don't I feel like myself? Why don't the things I used to care about matter anymore? Why am I struggling when things are finally getting better? Because you're rebuilding. You're learning who you are outside of the role trauma gave you. And especially as mamas, this can feel really complicated because mamahood already changes your identity. Then add trauma recovery. You're not just raising children, you're also raising yourself in many ways. You're learning what safety feels like. You're learning what boundaries look like. You're learning how to give yourself the compassion you didn't always receive. And somewhere in that process, somewhere in that mess, you get to find yourself again. You get to meet yourself again. Not the version of you that survived, not the version of you that everyone else needed. The version of you that exists after all of that. I want to leave you with a few questions today. Who was I before survival became my identity? And if you don't know, that's okay. What parts of myself have I lost connection with? What parts of me are asking to be seen again? You don't need to have all of the answers today. Identity reconstruction is a process, and it doesn't happen overnight. And if this episode brought something up for you, if you're realizing you're ready to go deeper than just understanding your healing, and you want support actually practicing it in everyday life, so you're ready to put your money where your mouth is, for lack of a better term, I want to invite you into the Rising Room. The Rising Room is my healing community for mamas who are rebuilding their relationship with themselves while they navigate trauma recovery and mamahood at the same time. Inside, you'll find deeper conversations, resources, reflection tools, and a space where you don't have to do this work alone. You can join us by visiting the link in the show notes. Until next time, Mama, I am so proud of you for showing up. Mend the past so you can mama in peace. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Be sure to follow the podcast so new episodes land right in your feed each week. And if you're wondering what your next step toward calmer, more confident motherhood looks like, take my free Find Your Next Step to Calm and Confidence quiz found in the show notes below. Until next time, Mama, mend the past so you can mama in peace.